Hello and welcome back to the DreamHack Open Moscow 2014. I'm Richard Lewis, host of this panel, and we just saw Boom Boom get boom boomed by Drew.
Whoa.
Dude, I'm just telling it like it is.
No, it took a long time to get rid of.
Yeah, it writes itself. But an incredible game, 13 minutes of game time, and Drew just rolled all over him. Boom Boom went on tilt right off from the get-go. So, Sean, could you quite believe it was that easy for Drew?
I can, actually. Not 13-minute easy, but that easy. I really expected a 2-0 to come out from True. They're two massively different players. True is playing in recent times and playing at a high level in recent times, a top 4 in GSL just a couple of months back, actively playing in Pro League before when he was playing for Jin Air, and a very good actively player. But Boom Boom's a player we haven't seen in ages, and you can't, in StarCraft, as much as you can practice, as much as anyone else, you are going to get results that show that practice in action. You aren't going to play for 2 years straight or 1 year straight without any results to come up and be like, that's it, that's how I win.
Absolutely, absolutely. Not a surprise at all. True is just in form. He hasn't dropped a map so far, and yeah.
Well, let's see what that has done for the bracket. We're just going to quickly bring that up for you at home, which you should be able to see. But I mean, you can. Well, we'll start at the top. You can see that, well, there's the game everyone's going to be talking about, our first fully confirmed semi-final, MMA versus Snoot. How do we realistically see that one going? Is Snoot going to make a final?
I think that Snoot, it will be a close series. It will be a very tense series, but I believe in Snoot.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people seem to be believing in Snoot, but of course he's in a similar position to MMA. In the sense that they're both chasing down these WCS points, which we know are vitally important to, motivating the players.
Isn't it how funny how there was 3 players when we started the tournament? Yeah. We said there's 3 players who need WCS points more than anyone else.
Yep.
MMA, Snoot, and jjakji. We only have 4 players left, or just about. There's 3 of them still in.
Yep.
So the guaranteed win is...
Well, we're going to come into that in a second. Don't get ahead of yourself. We've certainly got plenty of time to talk about that. But, I mean, look, the performance by Snoot certainly indicates he's in fine form. But I think MMA is going to be a very different prospect, right? Yeah?
No? I think so, for sure. They've had some history as well, and there's been some very, very close matches. And, yeah, MMA, very, very strong Terran and in great form. And Snoot is definitely gonna have some hard games, but Snoot has amazing ZVT, and he has proven it time and time again as well.
They played not too long ago at Gfinity, and they had some epic games with an epic final game actually on Foxtrot in which MMA played mech. That does not happen every day. It was a quite long game with really back and forth. Swamos against mech, you might be like, oh, you know what, they're just gonna sit back and it's gonna be boring. But no, there was a lot of stuff happening, and in the end, it was Snoot who got who just got the lead at some point and then never let go from there, just won. And I think that was the quarterfinals. Then he ended up losing to Bunny, but you could tell in that game against MMA how important it was for him to win. And they were, at that moment, I think they were something like 16th, or no, maybe 17th and 18th in WCS rankings. So it was all it was about. And here again, they're very close in the WCS rankings. Both of them ideally would like to go to the finals, not only, but also win. So it's crazy that there's going to be so much on the line here in just one single series. It's just not about winning a single match, because they're already both qualified for winter anyway.
And just a quick word about True before we start talking about the next game we're going to broadcast. Can True do a Tasia here? It hasn't dropped a single game.
Yeah.
He absolutely destroyed Boom Boom.
He can do a Tasia up to the finals.
Yeah? You think?
Yeah, then he won't do one because he'll definitely lose a map in the finals against either MMA or Snoot.
Okay. Well, look, I'm going to bring you in here, Moonglade. And you know why.
No, I don't.
Prepare. Hello, this is my friend, the bus. Have you met Moonglade's body? I'm about to throw you under it. You said earlier that the jjakji Happy game, which is going to be the next game we're going to broadcast, you said that was a guaranteed win for whoever played the home favorites. Happy. That is, those were your words. A guaranteed win. So explain yourself,
I was
Moonglade.
a little too enthusiastic while I was saying it. I was hyped in the game. Todd brought me back during the game, and I kind of corrected myself. I was like, "You're right. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed, Todd.
Didn't you see jjakji stats versus Terran?
All right, it might be guaranteed. 20 to 1, I mean, it's hard to say otherwise, but it's not fair on Happy, and Happy is still in this, and he still has a chance for sure. He can do it.
These two actually have some curious history. They played a while back, like earlier in the year, I think it was January, and back then, it was jjakji that won 2-0. They played the next month, February, and this time, Happy 3-1 jjakji. They didn't play, then again, up until very recently, I think a month, actually no, just like about a week ago, in the Zotac finals. And this time it was jjakji who won 3-0. And he's been on the tear versus Terran, 20-1 in his last maps played versus Terran in the matchup. So really feels like right now it might be a bit of a guaranteed win.
Crazy TVT stats.
Well, thanks for backing me up, man, after giving me all this shit this whole time.
I just want to say as well, that photo that we had of Happy there, that's the happiest I've ever seen him. And he was still wanting to punch somebody in the face.
I don't think he will be after he plays against jjakji, though. 20 wins and 1 loss.
Incredible.
It's remarkable. You don't really see stats like that. Hardly ever.
And they're legit games as well, Sean, though. They are legit games.
They're against, the finest European Terrans that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm pretty happy I made that call, even though it was a little too harsh. Like, I would never want anyone to say that against me if I was in a tournament. But I'm not in that tournament, so
Well, I want to ask you players, not so much you. No disrespect.
I'm on your side of the table now.
Yeah, so with a non-playing squad here. How much of a difference can home advantage make? I know, Todd, in particular, you played a lot of pixel lands in France, which certainly aren't the biggest, but you're a bit of a hero there, a bit of an icon by all accounts.
Yeah, I thought people hate me there.
No, they love...
Todd's an icon?
Yeah, to the right.
Move on.
No, but so you played in front of a home crowd. Can it energize you to a point where you can overcome insurmountable odds?
Definitely. The thing is, I don't know how it goes in Russia. We've seen actually quite a few people do some stare down behind Smix. Those guys are definitely different down there. So, and also Happy I don't think he's the most receptive player, like in terms of that. Like
that's the biggest thing.
You said it yourself. Like he's not very emotional. He doesn't smile much and all that. He's that guy that's super focused. He didn't even wave at the crowd
when they brought him out, and he got a massive pop. Like everyone was cheering for him.
Yeah. I think it'll depend on the player and how reactive they are in social situations to that sort of thing. Like, if I was back in Australia, I'm sure, and it was a big international tournament down there, and I had all the Aussies behind me, I'd be feeling great. I'd be in great spirits, and I would play a lot better just from that, because that's just the way I am. Like, if I'm happy, then I'm playing better, but it depends on the person.
So this is where I get to bring you in.
Hello, mate. We
can talk about the kind of mechanics of this matchup. I'm not au fait with the particular ins and outs of the styles in terms of this matchup between the two players. So how do you think this is going to go?
I have to go with jjakji because the way that the matchup plays is hyper-aggressive and it's a very early type of game. I feel that Happy has always had very good micro in small battles and so on, but the way that the matchup plays doesn't play to his key strength, which is to get the machine working per se, to go to the later stages, to build this massive army and get all the production down at the right time to be able to do that. If he's able to drag it out long, I think that's where he can win, and he can suffocate jjakji the longer it goes. But jjakji's going to be on fire in the early parts of the game. And to be honest, out of those 20 wins, he's probably won the majority of them in such quick fashion that this can be very one-sided. It can be very quick as well.
Well, let's see if he can beat the 13-minute record for a series. I hope not. I want this to kind of last a little bit longer. It's been such a great tournament. But we're going to be able to shed some more light on how the players are feeling ahead of their game. We've got Smix live in Moscow with both of them for an interview. So we'll go over to her now. Take it away, Smix.
Russia, I know it has been a long day, but we are finally at the last quarterfinal match, and I know you have been waiting for this, so please join me in welcoming to the stage jjakji and Happy. You guys are amazing. Now, jjakji, at DreamHack Open Bucharest and Summer this year, you reached the round of 16 barely shy of round of 8, but you weren't able to make it to the main stage. Now here at DreamHack Open Moscow, you're finally on the main stage at the top 8 show in front of all these fans. How does it feel to finally be able to stand here? And do you have anything to say to the Moscow fans?
Yeah, in DreamHack, first time round of 8 and first time on stage. So very happy, and I will take DreamHack trophy.
Now, Happy, I know that the last time you faced jjakji, unfortunately you lost 0-3, and jjakji is known for having a great TVT. However, this time, you're in your home country in front of all these fans who I know are ready and eager to cheer their hearts out for you. Surely this must boost your confidence.
I think today is my lucky day and I'm gonna win.
Now, these fans cheered so hard for you. You can say something to them in Russian.
Спасибо всем, кто сегодня пришел и болеет за меня. Надеюсь, что я не разочарую вас.
I know you guys have been waiting and want to watch this. I'm eager to see who comes out on top as well. Let's get this started. Gentlemen, shake hands. Studio desk, over to you guys.
Okay, guys, so there we have it. Smix with another great interview, shedding a bit of light on it. And we actually did it. It took DreamHack Moscow to make Happy smile for the first time in his career. It actually happened.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I'm still in shock to see him smile. I don't know if this is the first time and the last time.
Out of that interview, that's what you guys want to talk about. jjakji said he was going to win the trophy.
Well, that is important, but Happy smiling is also, might just be a little bit more. I don't know.
Sorry, we got a bit of feedback there. I heard you guys in stereo.
Yeah.
The points were so good, you made them twice. We've actually got more statistics to talk about here, though. We touched upon them quite a bit. This is a statistic I find particularly interesting, and that is that Happy has been to 5 quarterfinals in his career, but has never made a semi. Never. It's never happened for him. So is that a matter of choking, or is it just that the caliber of players he's coming up against when he gets to those are just, you know?
I like how it all started with like a guaranteed win comments, and now we just keep on adding on more reasons on why he's
I know how to hide,
win.
because if he turns it round, mad.
I mean, it's kind of reinforcing that he is a great player and he can do very well, but, you know, he's always reaching that stage where you're going to run into those monster Koreans at the end of a tournament in that quarterfinal stage where he just hasn't been able to overcome them yet.
Well, the funny thing is with Happy, and you should all get this as well, is that, you know, who usually plays what nationality plays at the top of tournaments, the top 8? It's usually Korean.
Yes.
Who does Happy really hate playing against? Koreans. He's got a terrible mentality going up against them. He can beat them. He's good enough to beat them. But he said time after time after time, I can't do it. You know, these are Koreans. They're too good. They're actually too good. They're better than everyone else. And he has that kind of mentality. So I really hope that the crowd and being on stage and just being realistic in the situation here, he can do it. And if he has that approach, he can break that barrier for the first time, but it's definitely a mental barrier more so than a playing capability issue.
Actually, I wonder, I'm the Protoss here, Moonglade's the Zerg, so you have to be the Terran.
Absolutely, I am the Terran right now.
Happy, what does he need to be jjakji here?
To not die early. Bang.
No, I like it. I like it, actually.
Don't die early.
You've done it, Sean.
I've done it.
Happy has to get his war machine running.
Yeah.
That's all it is to it, because he is that player. The problem is, in today's meta, that is not a thing in TVT. You've got to survive the early game to get to that stage, and it's about being aggressive as well as defending.
And that's the problem here, is that yes, he needs to survive, but I don't think, like you said, in the type of game that Terran versus Terran is right now, that's even possible. Otherwise, we wouldn't see these games all the time that we do. So he has to fight fire with fire. He actually needs to do what jjakji's going to do. He has to play aggressive. He needs to put the pressure on, and he needs to put the game over to jjakji.
Yeah, and of course, jjakji hasn't made a final since November 2011. So if you were going to get a break, this could be the guy, right?
This
no?
He'd still have to go through True.
Yeah.
But it would be a good start here. Yeah.
Good start, but I mean, you saw jjakji's latest statistics against Terran, and I think it's the stacks. It's kind of stacking up against Happy. I mean, this is a great player in great form, especially in this matchup.
Well, I mean, against First, he showed a lot of good things, and even though it's a different matchup, I mean, Terran versus Protoss can be pretty hard. Yes, not gonna lie, and he made that look pretty easy. Like even the hold against Colossus without a single Viking, that was sick. That was really, really sick. Like if you're playing that well in a matchup, I mean, why not in another one too? In either Zerg or Terran, we know he's good against Terran right now, so maybe jjakji can take it all the way, like he said he might.
Well, you know, I don't know. I've kind of been looking at the form, looking at the stats. I know he's got some impressive ones. I still think it's all about that top half of the bracket. It's all about the other semi. I kind of feel like the win is going to come from there almost. It kind of feels destiny, you know, like it's
guaranteed
meant
win.
to happen.
Yes,
guaranteed win. But no, so what about, you know, jjakji in terms of the WCS standings? He needs points as well. It's not guaranteed yet.
I think he...
or has he gone past the threshold this tournament?
No, not yet. He's in a very similar boat to Snoot, in very, very similar situations, but he needs to be able to, you know, just push himself a little bit further. You know, it's not guaranteed until you're top 8 or so, and neither of them are that yet.
He's past 3,000 points. He's at 3,100. So, I mean, the most...
It's likely, but it's not guaranteed.
The thing is, the WCS seasons... in Europe and North America are still ongoing, and that's where you score the most points. So you don't know how much some of these guys are going to score that are already very high up there. So playing in a tournament like this, that's a premier tournament, but that doesn't bring nearly as many points as the WCS seasons, and jjakji already being out of the Europe region. For sure, he needs to, I think, make a finals here or possibly even win the tournament just to make even more sure that he's going to have a good chance to qualify for BlizzCon. I mean, already having 3,100 points is good, but not necessarily going to be enough.
Yeah. And we can see him in the booth there as well, just getting ready. You know, looks to be fairly focused. I think that's safe to say. I think it's interesting because since he's moved to Europe, like he was a very competent player, very high-level player. Then when he had that move to Europe, that was when the form kind of started to wobble a little bit for him. Is there a chance that now that he's getting settled, a bit more used to it all, that he's really starting to turn it around and pick it up? Could we be seeing a new, emergent, resurgent jjakji?
I feel, definitely if we're comparing him to a couple of years ago, absolutely. He's really getting back to where he used to be, but he's still missing that final. It's been years and years and years now since he's got there. But jjakji is a player who's very capable of getting to a final, and especially in a tournament like this, it isn't the most stacked tournament, it's not the most difficult tournament, and jjakji he should be always aiming for a final at this type of event.
He was in a slump for some time, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
At the start of 2013, I think was his worst period. 2012 was rocky, but still kind of consistent. I think 2013 was where he dropped down.
How did you feel about his last game? So I was really impressed, but I don't know. It wasn't that many games that we saw. Like
jjakji, I mean, in the last year or so, jjakji's had strengths in one matchup, but then weak in the other. So he's gone into tournaments and done very well versus Protoss, and then just got owned by Zerg. And then that would turn around, and he did really well against Zerg, and then got brought down by his Protoss matchup. But right now, he's looking actually all-round amazing. We've seen his stats versus Terran.
He's got good stats.
We've seen his games versus Protoss, and we know he's already very good against Zerg as well. So I think he's in the best shape that he's been in a long time.
Okay, so on that note, let's move to predictions. The players are getting ready. So I'll start with you, Todd, and then we'll move into Sean.
Guaranteed 2-0.
Brutal.
I'm going to say it's going to be 2-0 for jjakji as well.
I mean, Sean, any hope for Happy at all?
2-1 Happy.
You're going to give him a game?
Russia!
Oh, you're going to give him the game?
I'm giving the game, the whole series, man. 2-1.
Man, you always play to the gallery. Like
2-1.
You just love
you
the
watch
fans.
it. You know, come talk to me after it's 2-1. Come talk to me.
Come towards you.
I won't want to talk to you if it's 2-1 for Happy.
2-1 Happy.
Okay, well, coming from you, that's quite...
I've predicted everything 100% so far, and I'm going to continue that record, mate.
Okay, well, I got to lean towards jjakji. I don't share the confidence. I think it'll probably be 2-0. But we are going to... I was going to say, we're about to get ready for the game. I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. I think for me, it's just about how quick jjakji does it. Does his play style mean that he might just blow through? And
you want to do a prediction on time?
Yeah,
guys, come on.
I feel were at that stage.
You only do the time prediction when it's 100% wipeout from everybody saying 2-0 for jjakji. I'm on Happy's side.
And this is a fan favorite.
Okay, then
as
do
well.
a time prediction for Happy's win then.
25.
All right, 20 minute jjakji win.
15.
Okay.
jjakji.
15. I think 13 minutes from True is still going to be the tournament record. Anyway, Todd and Moonglade are getting in there now. You are going to be casting it, so break a leg, have a good one. Look forward to talking to you after the game and to everyone out there in cyberspace. We are going to quickly jump on now and bring you the hometown hero Happy against jjakji. Who's going to win? You'll be able to see right now.
Thank you very much, Richard. It is time for a TVT here. DreamHack Moscow.
It is indeed. And here, in the top left, the red Terran, it is the Russian favorite. It is Happy. And he's got quite a match ahead of him. It's going to be very exciting to see how he's going to play considering today's meta. I have not seen much of Happy's TVT, unfortunately, so I can't make too much of a prediction. But if it's like his style in just about every other matchup, he wants to kind of survive to the late game, where his war machine can be up and running.
And his opponent starting in the bottom right-hand side corner of King Sejong Station, it is Mainz and it is jjakji. Both players went for a gas first, Happy with an earlier one.
Surprise, surprise, gas first. It is today's meta. We're seeing it just about every single TVT now. It's a very aggressive opening, and I'm guessing considering we see Happy doing it, it is going to be aggressive style from him as well.
I think Apollo was spot on with his analysis of what Happy must do to try and win here. You know, with basically just staying alive early on, and what does that mean? Basically being aggressive himself. With the gas first here, he's going to be able to open with a quick factory, much like jjakji. We're going to see medivacs being made, most likely drops being made here and there. A lot of the time with some Marines, some Hellions, maybe some Widow Mines involved. And Banshees as well are an option here. Actually, Happy used to be a massive fan of Banshees. Like in most of the matchups, like be it Zerg, Protoss, Altair, he's very good at micromanagement. He was undead in Warcraft 3, I mean. Flying units and
gargoyles,
lane hit and run. Yeah, gargoyles. I was thinking gargoyles.
How could we ever forget about gargoyles? As a Night Elf player myself, I do have nightmares about them still.
Well, with the damage of the Banshees, it's more like those gargoyles who are basically shooting Coil and Nova. So.
Well, it's like 3 attack gargoyles, man. They're just 2-shotting wisps. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. We definitely see a lot of Banshees still in today's game. So we're gonna have to wait and see exactly how Happy's gonna play it. But he's getting that factory almost finished as well.
Second gas for jjakji, and no second gas for Happy. So every time I see a second gas, I'm directly thinking Cloak Banshee. It's not necessarily always the case, but
I think it's definitely a lot more common. And from a one gas, you usually see a bit more Marine with Hellions or Widow Mines sort of drop play, which we saw from MMA.
This is actually a map where if neither player dies early on, then whichever player gets a bunch of tanks and then goes behind the natural to snipe on those gases. Yeah, right behind the debris. You can do very well with that. I remember actually Major beating Port quite a few times using this kind of a style every single time and just doing super well with it. Yeah. So one thing to keep an eye on, or at least to keep on our minds, because I feel that there's a chance we might see something like that from either player.
Can definitely be a great follow-up. We did see it in the past, and I mean, it is a great style, and it will shut down the economy of the natural when you have that sort of lead early on. And we see a Banshee coming out from jjakji now.
So he's not going to get a medivac first, obviously, since he's going for Cloak Banshee. That means Happy's going to be the one dropping some Marines, some Hellions in there, doing an elevator. And this is, I mean, I've seen games end very, very quickly when that has happened in the past. jjakji is going to have his Banshee, I think, back at home to be able to defend that comfortably. If it's going across the map, it's going to be difficult to defend at home. But then he has that option to counter-attack with and do a ton of damage. It's very, very tricky, those situations, and that's what makes TVT a very volatile matchup. And look, Happy is actually rushing a second command center on the low grounds, whereas jjakji is preparing for defense with a bunker up the ramp.
And he's got to be careful. I mean, this Banshee is actually going to commit to Happy's base, so I mean, jjakji's only got Marines to kind of deal with this, and they're a little bit out of position now. Bunker did finish, though, so he will be able to hold them back for now, but he's going to have to be very, very careful of any sort of drop.
He wants to elevator this, maybe. Actually, the Medivac is empty. What is Happy up to?
I actually think Happy can't commit to this now. I mean, we already have 2 Hellions out as well as the Marines.
Cloak is about to finish 7 seconds away.
And we don't have a...
Not a single unit.
We don't have an engineering bay
The
either.
Viking just started only now. There is only 2 Marines. If he kills those 2, jjakji is going to kill so many SCVs behind this already, getting some early leads.
And this is just huge damage. This is game-ending damage. There's simply nothing Happy can do. He was completely... He was not prepared one single bit for a Banshee, of all things. And, I mean, he's got to wait for that scan. He's got the scan.
The Banshee could move out of the range. He's going to try to. I think he might be able to get away.
No. So close. So close. But that was still some critical damage. And I think we could see a follow-up from jjakji as well, as we see him move across the map with the Raven, Marines, and Hellions now.
He's going to have at least 1 auto turret to work with during the next attack. In terms of army supplies, up to 24, just to 18 for Happy. Just that many walkers ahead that he can attack. And even if he throws away his army, as long as he trades decently, he'll be in a good position. Oh, man. Apollo's analysis, man.
Yeah?
Happy needs to stay alive.
Happy needs to stay alive,
It's looking
man.
bad right now.
Yeah, he did try some aggression early on, but it just didn't do any damage. And he was not defending properly against jjakji. He didn't read what the build was going to be, and
Happy's about to drop some Hellions, but again, jjakji on point.
On point with his defense every single time, regardless of the fact that he did go for that Banshee opening.
Here we go with the attack. Turret being made. This is crazy that jjakji only made 1 single Banshee with Cloak, because this is forces turrets.
Yeah.
But there's no more Banshees to kill.
Absolutely, and we do see those 2 auto turrets go down. A little bit out of position, though.
Yeah, he wasted them a little bit here, but I think as long as he can take a decent fight here, those SCVs are going to start dying left and right. Happy losing even more SCVs. He's already lost 13 so far this game. He's down to 18 SCVs against 32. He's going to lose even more. jjakji, he doesn't have any time to waste. 9 minutes 31. It looks like it's over already in the first game.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, so many Hellions left, and GG, every single SCV is gone. And I mean, it all started with that Banshee that Happy was just not ready for 1 single bit. And from there, I mean, can you even imagine what would have happened if that Banshee got away as well? He would just come back in, do even more SCV damage while everything else of jjakji's was coming across the map.
Apollo with a great prediction in terms of analysis. Not so much... not looking nearly as good in terms of results, score-wise, right now.
Yeah,
what time did you say for the series, for the 2-0?
15. Oh, no, it was 16, I think. 15 or
that
16.
was about 10 minutes. I said 20. Looking good for me, man.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Poor Happy, man. Poor Happy. He's going to have to bounce back a little bit harder than that. He's going to have to really think about his, his defense.
Yeah.
He has to defend. I feel like it's his only way.
Yeah. This was King Sejong Station, though, a map where the watchtowers are pretty useless in this matchup early on to see any kind of attacks coming, whereas now we're going to be on Overgrowth. Do you think this matters a lot in terms of vision and being able to defend better against Medivac drops, or does it not matter? The Medivacs go around anyway?
I think it's a much more of a straightforward map. I think defending it would be a lot easier, for sure. Compared to that map, I think this would be a lot better for Happy, considering his style. And it hopefully just makes the right decisions regarding like how he's going to defend against what jjakji's doing. He has to read what jjakji's doing. He's got to find out, is it going to be a Banshee, a Cloak Banshee at that? Maybe like a Reaper opening would suit him a lot more as well.
If neither of them dies early on, I wonder, what do you think? Are we going to see mech maybe out of one of them? If it goes into like a 2-base, 2-base, then 3-base, I think Happy would be the one.
Yeah,
but jjakji can play mech pretty well too.
I think if one was to do it, it would be Happy. But I feel like jjakji's always going to go for that aggressive Marine style. And I think jjakji knows Happy very, very well. Because they've played a lot in the past, for sure. And jjakji knows he just has to be aggressive and pick Happy apart, essentially, before he gets to that later stage in the game.
So you think if neither of them dies early on, we would see jjakji go into bio and Happy mech?
Quite possibly.
Okay.
Let's say it's a 60% chance.
Whoa, not a guaranteed.
No guarantees now.
I'm going to use that since the end of time, man.
Do it, man. Do it. No, it's a great way to be controversial, I guess.
Moonglades, the guaranteed win.
Well, I don't know about me, man. I'm pretty good, but I mean, against Koreans like this, who knows, right? So it's always going to be hard, especially one that's on fire in this matchup.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the same kind of quick gas opener out of them, gas first and just take to a factor. I'm actually surprised that Happy did not try to go for something like an elevator. Like, at first he had placed his units on the right-hand side. I was so sure he was going to try to drop up the main of jjakji, but we see everything. For us, it seems so obvious what he needs to do, whereas he didn't know if there was going to be a Banshee or not. He couldn't he couldn't spare a scan just yet. Like his second orbital wasn't up. He had just one. He had to use more mules.
Yeah.
So it didn't really make sense for him to use a scan and try and make sure what he was up against at the time. So
yeah, I mean, he was looking up that ramp and he saw a ton of Marines. He saw 2 Hellions come out as well, and it's like from there, it's like, well, there's simply no way I can get up there and do enough damage. And at the same time, a Banshee's moving across the map to kill like SCVs that have no turrets and no anti-air there.
All right, guys, let's jump into the game. We are on overgrowth between those 2 players. That is not... Okay, no.
It's all good. It's all good.
All good. That was a lag for a second. All right, introduce our player, our first player.
All right, our first player. Currently down 1 game. Has to turn it around this game. He wants to stay in the tournament. After this lag, it is Empire's Happy. Game is paused.
You can probably live with this PC. That is not me, guys. That's not even
Todd, you're lagging. You're lagging, brother.
It's not me, it's you.
I don't know, man. It's your account, man. But yeah, we do not need that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, gas first, standard for those 2 players, I think, here. And if either of them was to try something crazy, I don't know what it will be really. Like maybe some kind of greedy player, like a hidden base here and there. But regardless of that, it may have to go through gas first.
That's right. And I think we're going to do that introduction once again because Happy didn't get a good enough go. So on the bottom left here of Overgrowth, we have the Russian player down a game, has to win this one to stay in the tournament. It is Empire's Happy.
He's been playing for Empire for as long as I can remember, actually.
Yeah, he's been around in Happy, in Empire for a very, very long time.
Definitely no clan hopper. Oh my god, that keyboard is like 15 years old.
Wow, that's like a keyboard you used in Brew War. I forget its name, but the Samsung one. Ancient.
And his opponent, starting in the top right-hand side, playing for Team My Insanity and living in Switzerland. It is jjakji, also known as Jackie. That's the nickname we like to give him in France. Really cute nickname for a very mean player that beats everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happy no gas first.
Very interesting here.
So not even a gas at 13 or 12.
This is definitely more of a Happy style, I guess, going for that economic build. Wants to get ahead and take it into that mid game with a bit of an advantage. But I mean, against a gas first from jjakji, it's going to be kind of hard for him to defend against everything. It's really going to be up to him to kind of mitigate the damage and try and survive and take it to that part of the game where he excels so much.
I think actually if you go for gasless command center the way he's going to go for it now, and then you kind of know there might be a Banshee cloak and you get turrets, you should be in a good position, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you can survive, it's like, as long as you don't let anything through, that's what it's all about. Like,
but then the hard part is knowing whether or not there is this kind of play. But actually Happy made, I think that was a gas 15, so it's going to be just a reactor CC factory built. Rather than a gas first, he changed his mind. I mean, gas first doesn't really feel like Happy style, to be honest, nowadays. As much as he used to play a whole bunch with Banshee and cloaks and all that, Happy is a guy who loves to open economic. Like, if he was a Protoss, I feel like he would almost never cheese. He'd always open Nexus 1 gates.
And that could be a bit of a disadvantage for sure. I think it's a huge mistake playing that sort of linear. Like, if you're not changing things up and players can read you like that, they'll take full advantage of you, especially someone like jjakji, who can be and is so aggressive. There's always a way in, and like, if you know that build, nothing is truly safe in this game. There's one way to take advantage of a bit of information.
You don't change a winning strategy, man. Second gas for jjakji, pretty sure it's going to be again for a Banshee cloak. If Happy is trying to hard counter that, it's going to be really interesting to see what he goes for. I'm guessing, like, with the timing, he's getting his factory at, so we could be seeing something like Widow Mines. He could go for turrets. I think turrets are really nice, obviously, against any kind of air unit like Oracles or Banshees. The thing is, jjakji is just so good that even if there are turrets up, I mean, by all means, it's not an auto win. Like, you can go around, find a unit here and there to kill, and also, it's not like jjakji committed massively to the Banshee in the previous game. He made just one, and then he went into a Raven that helped so much with the attacks and his units.
Yeah, it was a huge follow-up there. And I mean, even if there is a turret in the SCV mineral line, I mean, there's always the production that can be under fire. There's so many ways that the Banshee can make to go in. And we're going to see a Raven. So I do like this Raven style a lot too, and I think it could definitely make for a great timing this game as well. Especially, we've seen those auto turret timings with 2 medivacs, Marines, tanks, whatnot, come in and just pretty much kill like we saw last game. Auto turrets, when put in a great position, can soak up so much damage.
Yeah. I wonder actually what the plan here is exactly for jjakji, because he scouted nothing. He just saw a barracks up the ramp as well as the wall off. So he might think there was a quick gas involved, and there might be like something like a quick Banshee, which usually, I mean, if you get a Raven like this and then follow you up with a Viking, is what you're trying to counter. But no, he's not going to go for a Viking for now. He's swapping his factory. He might be doing some kind of 1-1-1 push, or
I think so.
Much like in the previous game we talked about with the debris, you can do the same thing on this map. You can go behind the middle line of the natural of your opponent with a tank, siege it, shoot down the SCVs that are working there, shoot down the potential gas that could be up there. And in this case, the turret that Happy has gotten ready. So Happy, if this had been Banshee, I would have liked this position. I've covered turrets and Banshees, but it's not.
It's not.
It's going to be some kind of tank push.
Exactly. Happy is completely geared up for a Banshee, and it's not going to come. And I think we're going to see jjakji do that timing with tanks, maybe 2 medivacs, 2 tanks, 8 marines, and a Raven. And it's an essentially, it can be a kill move. Like, if it gets in position, and I think it can for sure, considering Happy's defensive position. He doesn't know what's on the map.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's coming. He does have a Viking in a pretty good position, though. So maybe, just maybe, you can sniff this one out.
jjakji, he's going to have to do damage because his expansion is so much later than Happy's. The thing is, if you look on paper, he's going to have more tanks. He's going to have more Vikings. So not only is he going to have air control, he's also going to have more damage on the ground and more capability to fight, or at least not fight, that's the wrong word, to siege. Slowly but surely to try and do damage. So now he scans. He sees the entire main of Happy. Actually, he sees some of those units here for a second. So he kind of knows where he's at. He saw the turrets, probably pretty happy about it, knowing that he's going to do absolutely nothing. And I think the siege is going to begin.
It's going to begin. We see actually some SCVs come over as well. So jjakji making his first move. He has to find damage with this, as you were saying, considering how fast Happy did take that expansion.
Would you call that pulling the boys?
No, I call it pulling the bros. It's only 2.
All right. I'm pretty sure he's going to go behind. Oh, actually, the siege's already up. They're up the ramp for Happy. So I don't know. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that jjakji wants to siege from the right-hand side.
Yeah,
but I guess
so
he saw that turret up there and the placements, and he might try to just siege from down there. This is a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, he has a great position, taking some Marines out. And I mean, with that air dominance, he can bully these tanks back and further back, and eventually, you know, get in a great position to siege that natural.
I mean, killing that turret, what does he do really? Like, it's not that important. Happy scans.
Double the amount of Vikings.
He's ahead on Vikings?
Yeah, but with that point defense drone kind of helping out a little bit, but one Viking's gone down, and the second one's about to go down.
Almost flew inside of those Marines. Happy needs to be very, very careful.
But not a bad position at all for Happy, now that he's got that air dominance. He can push us back.
The thing about Happy is that, as much as in the previous game, you know, he didn't see that Banshee go across the map, and he didn't end up dropping like he should have. Right now, this is his comfort zone. He's very, very good at sieging, at defending. And as I say that, he starts losing Vikings left and right. There might be too many tanks anyway for jjakji, who moves up the ramp and is going to start attacking into this. The Vikings land and trying to reinforce on the ground. There is still 2 tanks alive here for Happy.
Oh, it's very, very close here. And I think jjakji might just have enough. There's simply 1 tank left and 1 Viking. Oh, and we see a great tank drop on top of the siege tank. He's going to take that out, and he saves it as well.
Picks up and leave. Whoa, the Viking.
Viking's going to follow it up there. But, you know, nice little trade there for jjakji. And I think he actually got ahead from that. Yeah, he's ahead in supply. Just he kind of maybe he kind of reset the situation.
Yeah.
He took away Happy's lead with that sort of advantageous fight.
If you look at the army supply and worker supply, actually,
it's identical.
Yeah, it's the exact same right now. In terms of units lost, Happy lost a few more, but since he had a much earlier expand, he had more units anyway, so he could afford to. So I guess the game's very equal right now. It's been reset. And to answer my initial question of whether or not Happy is going to go into bio or mech, he's going to biomech because he's making tanks and marines. So
yeah, absolutely.
Doing a bit of both.
Yeah, see, 60% right there, man. I didn't put all my chips in it. So, yeah.
I love, actually, marine tank versus marine tank. I think it's super entertaining, all about the position.
It's definitely the most entertaining part of the TVT, for sure. It's a lot of action, and it's fun to see marines get blown up by tanks. It's actually one of the most satisfying things in the game. except for Bailing's hitting Marines. That's also pretty great. But
that medivac on the left-hand side, what do you think this can achieve? I guess if Happy is really out of position.
Well, I mean, the turrets are in position. We got 2 turrets there that are going to shut it down pretty hard. He's got to be very careful as well as a Viking. So he's not going to find any space there. So Happy locking down his main very nicely.
It's so specific to Happy, this kind of turret and sensor tower. Like Happy loves sensor towers. You know, he was a Warcraft 3 player. He didn't have Guard towers to work with. He had only like ziggurats, which were pretty crappy. Let's just admit it, just like the race undead overall.
Yeah.
So he came into StarCraft to pick there, and he's like, well, finally got some good static defense to work with. I'm gonna make sure I use it. And you know, be it against Protoss all turn, we always see him get a bunch of turrets, get sensor towers, and make sure he's safe in position where people could try and exploit a hole in his defense. And yeah, it's just good for him, I guess.
No, it's a great way to play TVT, especially when it's going to go to that mid to late game, and you need to stop these drops that are going to do huge damage to your production as well as your income. Putting those turret rings down is a very standard sort of style in TVT, and he's getting it up just in time to stop that medivac drop. And now we see Happy starting to make his first move on the map here. Going to go around and try and see if he can do some damage to this potential third base that jjakji has.
He's behind on workers, but he has a supply lead. So actually now, in terms of pure army supplies on 71 against 67. He might get a cancel on that CC. Oh my god.
Oh, I think he might actually. He's in great position here. The tank's already sieged up as well.
He forces the engagement. There is way more tanks for jjakji. But I guess those Marines getting in there and getting close up to the tanks are gonna clean up. And Happy, did he just win?
I don't know if he's won just yet, but he's going to stop this third base, which is probably the biggest thing of all. Getting rid of the tanks as well, resetting the tank count for jjakji. Really great move from Happy. I mean, that was just perfect decision-making, perfect micro. He had a great position. jjakji was too late to defend that third base, and following up that Marine drop on top of 6 tanks, beautiful play. Definitely giving him the advantage.
Yeah, jjakji's armory was so late, by the way, and second eBay as well, whereas Happy's +2 attack upgrades for his infantry, he's already started. He's getting one more factory, he keeps on making SCVs continuously, he's making 8 Marines at the time. Happy has played this game so solidly. Like, you can tell the difference in a game where he gets basically, he suffers a lot of damage early on, in a game where he can stabilize, go up to 2 or 3 bases, get the machine rolling, as Apollo say. That's all he has to do.
That war machine is in full swing right now, and he is such a lead. But jjakji looking to try to switch things up here with a double Marine drop. And the planetary is almost finished, but can he actually get it up in time? Every SCV might actually go down before this comes up, and he's focusing it down now, but has to get out of here.
Oh, you better get out.
As the planetary finishes.
That bad boy not going to joke around with some
No
Marines.
way, it's going to one-shot a lot of Marines. And very nicely done. Great timing from Happy getting that up, and kind of just leaving it to itself in the perfect amount of time.
jjakji was forced into remaking a third CC at his natural, so he's going to waste a lot of time to fly that somewhere. Look, he's actually oversaturated at his natural as well. Still hasn't started any kind of +2 attack upgrades for his bioforces. Happy now cleaning up the debris. He knows he has way more army, and he's going to be in a good position if he can take a good fight, but I don't think he can attack in 2 tanks quite yet, even though I guess there are just 2.
It's just 2, man.
And jjakji's just on siege. Whoa, my god, if he had been attacked.
The tank count's got completely reset. It's just so many Marines at this point. So it's really going to come down to the concave more than anything else, as well as where these tanks are sieged up. And here we go. Happy looking for it. The tank's already sieged up for jjakji, though.
Yeah, there's 3 tanks on each side, or I guess about 2 now. Oh, Happy is just going to clean up completely the medivacs of jjakji, flying in there for a second. All the tanks are going to get cleaned up, whereas Happy survived. He's going to get a good supply lead from this. At least 10 more supply. But if you look at the production tab, I mean, Happy's just getting way too much. +2 is going to finish now in a second. Whereas jjakji's +2 only started now. This is just a disaster for him.
It is absolutely a disaster. Happy is playing this game so well. This is going way beyond what I thought he was capable of in this matchup against such a high caliber player playing such great TVT. But he is completely on top of it. And we're going to see a Doom drop from Happy to try and finish things off here. And I mean, we do see a couple of turrets in position, but is it going to be enough to really ward off what Happy's going to do?
Turrets are good, but actually if he flies to the very right of the map, like up against the wall, only one of those turrets is going to be shooting. I don't think he'd even kill. Yeah, he scans to make sure. No, he's going to fly into 2 turrets, but I mean, with all of those units anyway, he just has to drop far enough from the turrets that they won't be shooting at the medivac, siege the tanks, and Happy is looking to finish this second game as the winner to basically equalize the score here to try and go into a third game. jjakji gets in there. He's going to siege the tank. He teams with the Marines. He has a lot himself, actually. But
actually, that's a great position for jjakji. I think he might actually be able to clean this up with such a great concave. And he holds on for now.
Yeah, and that was nice. I mean, they traded units in the end. jjakji held. The thing is, the turrets died, but I wish he had killed the sensor tower because that didn't die, and that's very important. That's gonna force jjakji to remake those turrets anyway. So even though he didn't die here, he has to remake. He has to spend some money on something he ideally cannot really afford right now. Why is he not landing the third base actually?
Yeah, he's actually completely forgotten about it.
The third CC of jjakji is just
he's forgotten about it at this point.
What the hell?
He is making a huge mistake here. I think jjakji's a little rattled in this game. He's simply playing so aggressive, and he hasn't realized that he has
to go for a full-on base trade.
Wow.
He's gonna try to do the same drop as Happy, I think, across the map.
Happy sees this coming, though. We already see Stim Marines come in, and he's not gonna be able to find a way in, I don't think. He's gonna try anyway.
Happy's coming back with his main unit.
Oh, great targeting there.
Oh my God.
Getting rid of a medivac instantly. Second one goes down as well.
There's nothing.
There's nothing here. There's simply nothing. Even just the production is enough to kind of clear this up. And jjakji, I think he actually might have to tap out in a second. He doesn't have much left, and Happy's taking a fourth base.
Oh man, the Russian war machine.
The war machine.
Taking a fourth base right now against the jjakji, who's struggling to take a third base, who's basically about to die. I think I can hear Apollo screaming like a little girl from across the studio here.
Absolutely, and I think it's up to, I mean, still, jjakji has a great position, but Happy wants to finish things off. He's going to go for it. Running into siege tanks, I don't know if he can actually do that. He's going to try, though, and this is going to be very, very difficult.
Good setup for jjakji. He might be able to hold. Oh, actually chases a little bit too far away. 70 supply now to 130. I mean, this has to be it. No matter what, Happy is going to win that game from there.
GG. Very, very nicely done from Happy, and he is still in this. He wants to get to that round of 4. He wants to get to those semi-finals. How far can he actually get? I don't know. That was such an amazing game, and it's great to see him really bring it out when everyone doubted him except Apollo.
You know, I feel like, especially in mirror matches, if you're able to hard counter someone, you're always going to do well. So too many people focus on trying to hard counter rather than just basically stabilizing and trying to outplay your opponent. So here, this kind of felt like jjakji was trying to hard counter Happy, and Happy, rather to try to hard counter jjakji, was trying to do what's ideal to his style and what will keep him alive and basically propel him into a game where he's on 2 to 3 bases, he's macroing, which is a little bit ironic because jjakji is a macro beast himself, you know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, this is very, very impressive play from
jjakji. I don't think he's definitely not afraid of like going up into a macro game against anybody, like taking more bases and stuff. So for Happy to make that statement here, you have to wonder, has he gained momentum from this? Does jjakji try to commit even more to early on attacks, or does he accept the fact that Happy wants to play a later game and play a macro game himself? It's possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Catalina, gonna be our third map. Medivac drops, man, on this map. Bit of a nightmare.
Can be a nightmare.
Sensor towers everywhere.
Absolutely, gonna need a lot of sensor towers, and very, very fun map. Yeah, pretty nice turn map for sure. It's gonna be interesting to see a TVT on this. I haven't seen too many TVTs on this myself.
I feel like the first Medivac drop on this map, if either or even both of them open with something like a quick starbot, which in jjakji's case, more often than not, actually, at least in the first 2 games, meant either a Raven or a Banshee. That's going to be very important. The openers, always so important in Mirror. Like, very rarely nowadays do you see 2 players being like, hey, you know what, let's macro. We're both going to open safe and stuff. They try to get into each other's face. They take chances. And a lot of the time, the one, it goes better for, or in favor, and ends up taking the win, which doesn't sound so good, say it like this, but no, somehow you play StarCraft 2.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is a very, very build order oriented sort of a matchup for sure. All about the openings, and Happy playing that greedy opening and getting away with it. Just getting the right defenses and holding the aggression from jjakji.
Yeah.
jjakji making maybe the wrong kind of decision in what sort of aggression he needed to make.
You know, for Protoss, actually in most matchups on this map, like the third base is kind of like out of position. I don't know how to call it exactly, like difficult to take. Do you think in TVT this might affect the game? I guess first and foremost, I mean, it's going to be all about the openers.
Yeah, it's going to be about the openers. And I mean, yeah, it's very positional on this map because you can have a good third or you can have a terrible third that has to be in the middle of the map sort of thing. But here we go. Into the game finally. And starting things off on the mid left of Catalina, it is Happy taking that last game very convincingly, very excitingly.
That was really some very, very good play out of him. Yeah. Definitely not the guaranteed win some people predicted.
Yeah, I don't know who said that.
You know what I'm saying.
I don't know who the hell would say that, man, but...
His opponent starting in the bottom right-hand side of Catalina, playing as the blue Terran. It is my Insanity's jjakji, of course.
Taking quite a big loss, a very, very convincing loss. I mean, he must be like, whoa, hang on a second. Happy is in really good form.
I don't lose TVT. What happened here?
Hey, man, I was on like a 95% win streak. Like, what's going on here? I got to be a little bit more careful. I'm going to see that gas first from jjakji as well. So sticking to his gun, staying with that aggressive style.
Not from jjakji, from Happy, sorry.
Not from Happy.
On this map, Reaper, obviously very, very good to get into the main, but in TVT, I don't think it applies nearly as much.
It's a lot harder for the Reaper, yeah, for sure. I mean, when Marines are out, you can shut down a Reaper instantly. And a bit
so gas 12, it looks like Reaper here for Happy.
Yeah, it looks like it. Getting it a little bit later here.
No gas 15 again. Not gonna use the same build twice in a row, whereas jjakji, gas first every single game.
Every single game. He wants to keep that pressure alive. He wants to keep that aggression alive. And I mean, it is the standard of today's the meta for TVT. You see it time and time again from just about everyone. Happy is probably the only player that hasn't been doing it every single game. And I mean, it paid dividends last game. He got ahead in economy in such a way and held off everything until the point where his war machine was up and running, and he destroyed jjakji. And I mean, a little bit of a different style this time again from Happy, going for that little bit of a delay gas, more of a standard Reaper gas timing. And so he's going to scout with it.
You like Happy's approach better as far as openers go, of like mixing it up every single game?
I like that a lot. I like variations for sure. Keep a lot of variety. I think it's a great idea, great move. And I mean, we saw how well it worked last game. Like, if someone's so used to a certain build and you just throw something in, maybe something even old, if it makes it work. Absolutely, I think it's a great move. And I'm very, very excited to see Happy's changing it up yet again.
Yeah.
Not going too greedy this time.
jjakji made a Marine first, then he made the Factory, and now he's getting a Reaper. Interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
And he scouted the exact same thing as he did in the previous game, which is basically 2 supply depot up the ramp and a barracks. So he has no idea right now whether there is a gas or not.
Yeah.
Or what timing the gas was made at is what I should say here. Because in the previous game, it was a gas 15. I'm pretty sure that after the last game, he knows that it was a gas 15 in the previous one. He was able to come to that conclusion. So I think right now, maybe he didn't really expect that Reaper.
Yeah.
And going for his own Reaper, that was very fortunate because now he was able to catch Happy's and kill it.
Happy just not reacting though. I think he could have actually just ran out and jumped down the cliff, but not really doing that, kind of keeping his eye off it. I think he thought he could just kill the Marine and go back to his base.
He let the SCV in. And by the way, we have not a single unit town on the map right now for Happy. He only has SCVs.
And we have 2 Marines in the making, but he might actually take some damage from this. A little bit of a slip up there, and I mean, he also let that SCV in, so jjakji knows exactly the gas timings.
Yeah, the SCV is killing another SCV here. The SCV of jjakji is killing one of Happy's. What the hell?
jjakji finding a way in here, taking advantage of the missteps from Happy, but Happy manages to clean up that Reaper, which is going to help out a lot too.
Oh my god.
Very, very stressful situation, and we already see. Look at the supply difference already.
Yeah.
It's 18 to 28.
Another Reaper is going to get in there and keep on murdering some of those SCVs here. Happy successfully not dying early on in the previous game and finally taking the win. This one is suffering already.
He is falling apart. We do see the Reaper get cleaned up again, kind of awkwardly, but still, I mean, the supply difference is quite surprising already. I was not expecting it to be that different. Oh, this Reaper might go down as well, getting rid of one more Marine, but Happy's natural looks to be safe finally.
For now, yeah.
For now, until the, of course, the Cloak Banshee makes its way in, and we're going to have to wait and see if Happy's going to be ready. We already see an engineering bay coming up, though, so looks like his eyes on the ball. He's ready for it. He has scouted those 2 refineries, so he knows that the potential for a Banshee.
Ooh, this Marine's lined up.
Oh
my god.
Wow, that's actually way too much damage from one Hellion.
I can't believe that badass SCV of jjakji that got into the main and killed the SCV that was building the factory. He was able to delay that for some time here. I mean, Happy still got his starport up, and now he's on an eBay. If he's able to anticipate the Cloak Banshee that's coming and get some turrets, yeah, he starts some turrets. So even though he's lost quite a few walkers, he's still in this. And as long as he doesn't suffer too much damage from now, he should be okay. But I mean,
he should be okay.
It's jjakji.
look at, I mean, it's jjakji, and jjakji has taken this great offensive lead. I mean, he's already up 10 supply. He's natural, hasn't finished yet, but I mean, that's still quite a supply lead for this time of the game. 7.5 minutes in, 30 supply to 43. We have a Banshee that has potential to do a lot more damage, but there is a Viking in position.
Cloak's about to finish 6, 5, 4. He's going to be able to get Cloak and maybe get right back in there. Did he actually see the turrets? Let's see.
Not entirely sure. It looks like
no, he didn't see it yet. So I mean, jjakji's going to have to be very reactive. If he gets in there and lose a Banshee, like killing almost nothing, it would be a disaster.
Yeah, but he can potentially do some damage here. He's going to at least force out a scan. There it is. Can he actually get out in time? I think he can. Oh, yes. Just. So very, very nicely done. And we do see a tank from jjakji coming up to the natural as well.
A nice win. Basically, that orbital of Happy will have wasted a mule on a scan instead that he didn't even kill the Banshee. So pretty good by jjakji.
And I'm liking this kind of aggression. I mean, it's very, very light aggression.
What is this? He's sitting with 1 Hellion, 1 Marine, and 1 tank. That's a 1-1-1 if I've ever seen one.
That's a 1-1-1, and I think he can do it, considering, look at the HP on these Marines. So much damage already from 1 Hellion has done this. And the Marines are going to get one shot if they get close.
Again.
Oh.
He's going to get out of the range of scan with the Banshee.
Oh, no.
Cyphers has called the game.
Cypher has had enough of this game. It's too frustrating, too intense, and a second tank is coming up as well. And from here, I think he's going to have to lift his CC and give it up.
Yeah, how do you attack into those tanks?
You can't at this point.
He might have to pull SCVs. The Banshee finally going to be uncloaked from the lack of energy. He's going to try and deal as much damage as he can before that. SCV is dying left and right. Happy down to 34, supply to 64. jjakji not slowing down at all in that last game.
I mean, we do see a Banshee almost out for Happy, which can turn this around, considering how small a round of Marines that are there.
It's weird, I don't hear Apollo screaming anymore now.
No, not anymore. It looks like things might have changed quite drastically here. We see a tank go down for Happy as well, and I mean,
actually, there's not much to defend against that Banshee, but I mean, even
then,
Happy defense,
the damage is done. It's 30 supply to 70 at this point. What can Happy do to get back into this? I don't think, even if he cleans up every single thing, will there be enough? And we see it slowly getting cleaned up at this point. We almost see the Banshee for Happy get cleaned up. He's going to have to turn around, get healed up, repaired up. And I mean, it still means that Happy's natural is being under siege. You already have a siege tank and a Banshee doing so much damage to it. He's going to lift that up, and he does. But 2 Marines could be enough to actually finish it off. But Happy's Banshee turns around, has been repaired enough, and jjakji's going to actually have to turn around finally.
He's going to get pushed back for now, and the CC of Happy did survive. The Banshee cannot get too cheeky here. I think Cloak was cancelled, right? Yeah. So Happy holding on, but I mean,
half
with
the supply.
So much damage being done.
Half the supply, man.
Is there really anything he can do? And with the tank count being so high for jjakji here, I mean, surely he can just get some Vikings, do a follow-up attack a little bit later on and end it.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time now. jjakji is going to be building up that army that simply Happy won't have enough resources to kind of counter. Already trying to take that that air dominance with 2 Vikings already, making more. And with that, making tanks and Marines to follow it up, getting Stim and +1. I feel like jjakji's just gearing up for that final attack. And we don't see Happy, you know, he's trying. He's got that natural backup, dropping a couple of mules, but it's not enough. It's half the supply still, and it's only going to get worse.
Actually, if you look at the production tab, it tells the story here.
Tells a sad story.
Yeah. jjakji is able to start anything he wants right now. Steam pack, +1 attack, 3 supply depot at a time, more reactors, a 3rd base.
A 3rd CC, man.
He's not gonna slow down in terms of macro just because he's quite far ahead. He's not gonna shove everything he has into Happy's face either. Happy actually looking to do some economic damage here.
He's trying, but there's a turret and 3 Vikings just waiting for him to finish the job.
Not in the main though.
Not in the main. He's fighting a little bit in the main here until there's Vikings come along.
Start off a comeback, Moonglade.
It's good to be optimistic, but let's not be crazy.
Yeah, this army here looking huge. 47 army supply to 17. And I mean, the tank count is obviously what matters a lot. It's actually 2 to 5, but I mean, 53 to 19.
Yeah, I mean, look how many Marines are with this. And
18 Marines to 0.
And I mean, Stim is almost finished as well, and +1, and
Happy moves out and attack. That guy.
He is so brave. He knows he has to get something done, and he sees the army, and GG's out. So very, very well played from jjakji in the end of things. Doing that hardcore aggression early on, finding enough damage, realizing that he did enough damage, and just following it up. Following it up with a tank push. While he was expanding.
Very dominant in the 2 maps that he won.
Yeah.
little bit, I don't know, like in the one that he lost. Not sure what to attribute it to, but very good win here for jjakji, who's going to move on to face True in the semifinals. We have Smix on the stage for ready for an interview. What's up, Smix?
Thank you very much, Todd. Congratulations, jjakji, on making it to the top 4 here at DreamHack Open Moscow. Now, jjakji, I know that you had 2 top 4 finishes earlier this year in premier tournaments, but it stopped there. Now you're again in the top 4 here at this tournament. What is going to be different about this tournament to make you, because earlier you said you wanted to win that DreamHack trophy, so what's going to be different at this tournament, and why weren't you able to win the other tournaments? 그러니까 이제 이번 연에 이제 4강까지 2번 갔는데 근데 우승은 못했어요. 근데 아까 전에 여기서 우승한다고 했잖아요. 그래서 옛날에는 왜 우승을 못했고 이번에는 뭐가 다를 것 같으세요? 우승하기 위해?
I was planning is just to get semi-final, so DreamHack Winter Seed and WCS Grand Final, maybe not 100 but more percent. So now complete. So just enjoy tournament.
Well, your next opponent is going to be True, who actually you're in head-to-head score. You're 3-0 against him. So this must boost your confidence a lot in making it to that grand finals here at DreamHack Open Moscow. 이제 그 다음 상대가 True 선수인데 그 True 선수와 이제 3번 만났는데 3번 다 이겼어요. 근데 이제 그것 때문에 약간 자신감을 많이 올릴 것 같은데 결승전도 갈 막 자신감도 많을 것 같은데 어떠세요?
Yeah, I already in final.
He says he's already in the finals. That confidence from jjakji. Now, as you mentioned, you have qualified for BlizzCon, which when I interviewed you earlier at this tournament, you said that that was your goal. Now, I know you must be incredibly happy. What's going through your head right now? 이제 그 블리즈컨의 진출이 확률이 다 이제 100% 됐잖아요. 그래서 그것 때문에 엄청 행복할 텐데 지금 무슨 생각이 드는지 얘기 좀 해주세요.
I'm not sure 100%, but if 100%, yeah, I'm really happy and just DreamHack Moscow and DreamHack Stockholm, I can more comfortable.
All right, last but not least, I know that a lot of you were big fans of Happy, but jjakji is the last semifinalist that we have. So jjakji, I know that a lot of these Moscow fans are a little bit sad, but do you have any words for them? 이제 방금 해피 선수를 이겼잖아요. 근데 여기 많은 팬들이 해피 선수를 응원하고 있었어요. 그래서 이 팬들에게 한마디만 해주세요.
I'm sorry, but cheer for me, please.
Everyone, your final 4 at DreamHack Open Moscow have been determined. It will be MMA, Snoot, True, and jjakji. So stay tuned. We'll be back at 6:30 with our first semi-final match.